Islam on the march. Handful of really interesting stories I've collected over the last couple of days, including another racist government that has banned the burqa. What that government is will actually shock you. It's so good I can't stand it.
Do we? You can wear a burqa in the United States, right? Do we have various laws on that?
I don't think we have any laws.
But there are some. You can't wear it when
First Amendment.
You can't wear it when you're getting a driver's license or something. I mean, there are laws.
Yeah. States have had to deal with it.
I don't think
Florida did.
I don't think you can wear it in school.
Florida, America's wackiest state.
I'll never forget when I was at the airport in Phoenix, though, and I saw a family come through. I don't know what they were, because half the people you couldn't see. They were just moving robes.
They were in disguise.
But there were some women wearing the full-on beekeeper's thing with just the little eye thing, and it was like a screen.
The 1,000-year-old tradition of Islam.
Yeah, the 35-year-old tradition of Islam.
Of a small, narrow sect of lunatics.
But they were walking through the airport, and I thought, holy crap, those guys with them have got to be sympathetic to terrorists. They've got to be. There's not a chance.
Where are we headed? Re-Islam, as usually we do. We look to Great Britain. This story out of Great Britain, Daily Mail reporting blind passengers in several instances have been ordered off of buses and refused taxi rides because Muslim drivers or passengers object to their unclean guide dogs.
Wow.
Islam considered dogs unclean. They interview the 73-year-old man who has a guide dog. He is functionally blind, I guess, legally blind. He's been ordered twice off of city buses by Muslim drivers. In one case, because the Muslim driver said Muslim children on board were screaming because of the dog. They resented being subjected to that dog. So the crippled guy was ordered off the bus to avoid offending their sensibilities.
That's pretty amazing.
Yes, it is. I have this unbelievably great analysis of if Islam is, say, 1 to 3% of your population, what you can expect politically from them. If they grow to 3 to 5%, what's been observed in societies around the world. When it's 10 to 15%, what you get, it's knockout information with examples. And the country that recently banned the burqa, Syria. We'll tell you why.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I'm Syrian. Are you Syrian? We're told Belgium is Islamophobic for banning the burqa. France is Islamophobic for banning the burqa. Another country has stepped up, Syria. Ladies and gentlemen, the Syrian Minister of Higher Education has prohibited the entrance of veiled female students into universities and colleges throughout the country. News agencies reported Sunday. Dr. Jitoth Barakat explained that the donning of face veils, which cover everything but the woman's eyes, opposes the morals and values of the academy.
Okay, I see, because I get confused on the terminology sometimes. Sometimes people refer to burqas, and then I see a picture, and it's just like the blanket over the head.
Right.
And that doesn't seem like a big deal to me.
Well, they've got an illustration, and it's the beekeeper.
Right.
It's just the eyeballs showing.
That we can't tolerate. I got a text here from somebody who said, they're allowed at school. I have several Islamic friends that were at sophomore, senior year. Really? The full beekeepers, we can't see your face thing? Or do you just mean like a headscarf? Because a headscarf, I think we're all right with a headscarf, aren't we? That's just a religious. That's just like wearing the little beanie if you're Jewish, or
the yarmulke. So anyway, I thought that was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
In April, Belgium became the first European nation to ban the burqa. 2 months later, French Parliament followed suit. Recently, Spain has announced it would consider banning face veils as well. In addition, a UK-based poll found that 2/3 of Brits would also support such a move in Great Britain. By the way,
I think this comes down to some like animal response to somebody who's got their face covered.
Don't trust anybody in a mask.
Right.
Hello.
You don't know who it is,
right?
Or what they're doing.
They are literally in disguise.
Yeah, I think it's a very primal sort of. That's not cool. We can't have that.
I don't know what that is, so it's a danger to me.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, ban it. Quit wearing it. It's a 30-year-old cult. That whole beekeeper thing. It has nothing to do with historic Islam. Islam is more than a religion. We've talked about this for a long time. It has religious, legal, political, economic, and military components. The religious component is a beard for all the other components. What is the history of the world, based partly on the CIA's World Fact Book, if you have a Muslim population of 1% to 20%, how does your country change? In what ways? It's really interesting.
Okay. Cool.
And by the way, I do not think you will find it alarmist and strange. I don't think you will find it informative and pretty persuasive.
I have plenty of things that are alarmist and strange, but that won't be alarmist and strange.
Oh, I'm not above alarmist and strange. This just happens to not be, in that group. Coming up next, what is Islamization? What does it look like? What are the signs of it? Actual scholarly facts. Islamization occurs. Well, let me start with this. Islam is more than a religion, as we talked about before. We've talked about this many times. Islam has a religious, legal, political, economic, and military components. Has all of those things. According to the gent who wrote this piece, the religious component is a beard for all the other components. And it really is, because most Americans look at Islam as a religion. You'd ask them, what is Islam? They'd say, well, it's a religion. They probably would not say it's a method for organizing society from top to bottom, which is what it is.
If the religious component is a beard, what is the beard?
Don't be an ass. This is serious. Islamization occurs when there are sufficient Muslims in a country to agitate for their so-called religious rights. When politically correct and culturally diverse societies agree to the reasonable Muslim demands for their religious rights, they also get the other components under the table. Here's how it works. And these percentages, by the way, for Muslims in the population are from the CIA World Factbook 2007. As long as the Muslim population remains around 1% of any given country, they will be regarded as a peace-loving minority and not a threat to anyone. In fact, they may be featured in articles and films, stereotyped for their colorful uniqueness. The U.S. has about 1%, according to this. Australia, 1.5%. Canada, 1.9%. China, 1 to 2% Muslim. Italy, Norway, etc. At 2 to 3%, they begin to proselytize from other ethnic minorities and disaffected groups with major recruiting, generally from the jails and among street gangs first. This has been observed. It's actually been observed now in the United States, but certainly in jails. This has been observed in Denmark, where the population is around 2%, Germany 3.7%, the United Kingdom 2.7%, Spain 4%, Thailand 4.6%. From 5% on, they exercise an inordinate influence in proportion to their percentage of the population. They'll push for the introduction of halal, clean by Islamic standards food, thereby securing food preparation jobs for Muslims. They will increase pressure on supermarket chains to feature it on their shelves, along with threats for failure to comply. This has already been observed in the United States, which is somewhat ahead of schedule in certain categories of demands. France, 8%, Philippines, 5%, Sweden, 5%, etc.
Surprising that would work. So 5% of the population says, we're not going to shop here if you don't have Islamic-friendly food. Who cares?
Right.
Shop somewhere else.
But you'll be accused of being a racist. At this point, they will get to work. They will work to get the ruling government to allow them to rule themselves under Sharia, the Islamic law. We're already seeing this in Britain. You know, if this article is anything, it's incredibly conservative in its estimates, because you've got judges in Britain saying, yeah, well, these Muslim neighborhoods, they're all Muslim, so why can't we let them just practice Sharia law here? In Britain, what did I say? They're almost 3% of the population?
Yeah, less than 3%.
It's astounding. At this point, they will get to work, the ruling government, to allow them to rule themselves under Sharia, the Islamic law, which, again, governs everything from the economy to the military, to police, to marriage, to violence, and certainly religion. The ultimate goal of Islam is not to convert the world, but to establish Sharia law over the entire world. When Muslims reach 10% of the population, they will increase lawlessness as a means of complaint about their conditions, Paris, car burnings, etc. Any non-Muslim action that offends Islam will result in uprisings and threats, Amsterdam, Muhammad cartoons, etc. Then they mention on the road to the next step is Guyana, India, Israel, Kenya, Russia, all that have over 10% Muslim populations. After reaching 20%, expect regular rioting, jihad militia formations, sporadic killings, and church and synagogue burnings. And then they point out all those countries where that's happened already. And they said it is remarkably, I've summarized this, but it is remarkably consistent.
This is from the CIA fact book.
Well, the
can I get
the populations are. I don't, I think you can. I think so. Yeah, I think the CIA fact book is just, as it might, title suggests, facts and figures.
Fact book.
It's okay to not want your culture to change, isn't it? If it's okay for people with different beliefs and ways of looking at life, if it's okay for them to want to change your culture, isn't it okay for you to not want to change your culture?
That's what you and Mark Williams, founders of the Tea Party Hobnob, say.
It's the Tea Party Rocket. That's my splinter group. You're decried as a xenophobe. But my culture is the most successful one in the history of the world. That doesn't matter. You're a hater and a xenophobe if you want to preserve it.